Give us the beginnings of Cold Crush. How does this all evolve? How does this happen? Because this is such a monumental group for everything hip hop.
The Cold Crush was something that Tony Tone and I created. Now, let's go back. As a matter of fact, I got my flyers, my show and tell flyers, right?
Let's go.
There were two or three versions of the Cold Crush before. Two other versions before the final version that you know now, the Cold Crush, right?
And you're one of the founding members of Cold Crush.
Yes, me and Tony Tone created the crew. So, Tony Tone, I had met Tony Tone because one of the MCs, which was RC in my crew, went to South Bronx High School. Tony went to South Bronx High School. RC told him about me. Yo, this DJ is nice. This Puerto Rican is nice on the 1 and 2s. Tony was looking to create a crew. Tony was with Breakout. So he told RC, yo, tell him I want to meet him. He said, sure. I said, sure, bring him by. I met Tony Tone. We became friends. He got down with my crew for a little bit. I mean, I got flyers where he was DJing. He was hanging out with us, so I always consider he got down with me because we were close. Listen, Tony Tone is the godfather of my daughter. He was my best man at my first wedding. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother. You understand? Me and Tony Tone got mad roots and mad love together from the beginning. So Tony Tone had this vision to create a crew. He came on with me, and we were trying to work things out, you know, because he had ideas, I had ideas, but I already had a crew with MCs, right? So the crew that I had at the time with the MCs.
I need to see the flyer.
I'm showing you, these are copies.
Show it to this camera or whatever you want to.
Okay, this was to show you, if you see the top of the flyer, right, it says Discotheque Productions. That was the company that we had. Me, Tom, and Jerry had that company, Discotheque Productions.
Discotheque Productions and Kevin Epps presents DJ Charlie Chase, DJ Tony Tone, DJ...
Look at the MCs. Read them.
Mighty Mike, MCs. I almost read Doja Cat. But Dota Rock, MC T-Easy AD, Whipper Whip. I feel like that's your cousin. Also, the L Brothers.
Right.
DJs Mean Green.
Mean Gene.
All right.
Right, that's Theodore's brother.
Dyslexic.
That's Theodore's brother.
Cordio?
You're right, Cordio. DJ Cordio.
Grandmaster Wizard Theodore, Robbie Rob, Kevy Kev, Busy Bee, Starsky at New.
Right? Now, what I wanted you to realize was that the MCs that were down with me was Dada Rock and Whip.
Right.
Wow.
They were Fantastic Five. They were with me. They were with Kaz as MCs. They got a lot of MCs left Kaz and then somehow got hooked up with me. So Dot and Whip came with me. Now, this was pre-Cold Crush, right? So then we decided that we were, Tony Tone and I, Tony Tone was the one who came up with the name, the Cold Crush. And I remember when he walked to me and he said, I was at this pinball spot across the street from my house. It was a winter. And he says, we were looking to create a crew. He says, I got the name of the crew I got the name that I want to name the crew. And there was a flyer with red lettering that says, this is another Cold Crush product. That was the advertisement on the flyer, right?
What was that advertising?
So a show.
Oh,
it was a show. By some other people I didn't know at the time. It said another Cold Crush product. He says, I want to call it the Cold Crush Crew.
Hey, you just jacked those guys, man?
No. They were expressing it was a Cold Crush product. It was a Cold Crush Crew.
Okay.
So I said, I like that name. I said, but if we form this group, we're going to be like family. So we're going to call it the Cold Crush Brothers. And he said, I like that. We're rolling with that. So then, at the time, you'll see, where does it say Cold Crush here? It says Cold Crush somewhere.
I love that you got your notes.
Right down at the very top.
I'm in.
Dada Rock
you got
and
receipts.
Whip are Cold Crush Brothers.
Cold Crush Brothers. Charlie Chase, Tony Tone, Mikey Mike, November 30th. Cold Crush 4 MCs.
Right.
T-Bone.
T-Bone, right?
Dada Rock.
Right.
Easy AD.
Right.
And Whipster.
And Whipper Whip.
Whipper Whip.
Right.
To break out.
And DJ Breakout. He was also performing that night, right? So that was the first version of the Cold Crush Brothers right there, right? Before that, this was me and the crew. This is before the Cold Crush. This is just me before
These
Tony
are copies. This is not
These
the
are
original.
copies, not original.
Yeah, he ain't bringing
this
the original.
This is me before.
You would have put
I ain't
liquor
gonna
on
lie to
there.
you. I got goosebumps this whole time.
This is me before Tony Tone came into the picture. Just me and these MCs that I have formed. Now, if you know Cisco was in the movie Beat Street. He was the MC that was rhyming when the female DJ was cutting.
Right.
Wanda D. That was Cisco, who lived in the projects right across the street from me. And he was my first MC, and he was the one who put these flyers together. He was a flyer maker.
Oh, wow.
He was an artist. He went to art and design, and he was a supreme artist.
Art and design in Manhattan. Okay.
went
But
there.
by the way, I'm so sorry. I kept handing him back the flyers. I knew you wanted to look at the flyers.
So now-
I apologize. I should have passed.
I'm
them to
good,
you.
I'm good.
I'm sorry. That was not good.
This is dope, man.
The fans gonna be like, "You Nori was hating. Look, Nori didn't even pass the for the flyer." I can hear our hating ass
Now,
fans.
I'm going to say this. It's never been said before, but this is the honest truth, right?
Please.
So, the reason the Cold Crush came to be was because I was always belly aching about the MCs ain't what they weren't as good as I wanted them to be.
Right.
And Tony Tone, my brother, was like, all right, so let's have an audition. And I'm like, great, let's have an audition. We had an audition at South Bronx High School. Now, mind you, for years I was trying to get Cass to come on board, and he was like, nah, I got a crew, I'm doing this and doing that and doing this. So when we were having the auditions, I'm like, I gotta get Cass on this crew, right? So I said, Cass, Tony Tone was the one that called him to come down to the audition.
Right.
To come down and I said, tell him that I need help picking out the MCs for my crew, and he's the expert. What I really wanted to do was
You
bring
reel
down
them in.
so I could reel them in, right? So we went down. I picked. AD was already down because he was Tony's friend. KG was the one that we picked from the audition because KG had that booming voice. Kaz and JDL show up, right? We picked ADL. KG. We couldn't really find anybody else, so we had that. So I said, Kaz. Now this is me and my scheming. I said, Kaz, do me a favor. Let's test out the MCs. Go on there on the mic. We got 4 mics on South Bronx High School. Let's test out the vibe to see how these guys can hang. Right? They get up there, and I'm like in the back. My fiendish plot is working. They go and they MC, and they're gelling. It's sounding really great. Kaz comes back, right? So I said, so Kaz, what do you think? Like that? I said, listen, man, that's when I pulled him into a corner. He say he won't remember this, but on my children, I will swear on a stack of Bibles, the conversation went this way. I told him, Kaz, I'm like, I've been wanting you to get down for years now. I'm like, you see what I got? I said, I'm telling you, I have a vision. I am going to make, I know that if you get down, we are going to be the biggest shit to ever hit what we're doing right now. We are going to be bigger than anything. I said, all you have to do is agree to trust me. And he thought about that shit, right? He thought about it. And he said, I'll do it, but JDL got to be down. I said, no. I said, I don't want JDL down because JDL had a reputation and all craziness. He's trouble. I don't want him. He said, well, if JDL ain't down, here goes the loyalty.
Okay.
JDL ain't down, then I ain't down. And I was like, Cass said that to me.
Fuck.
So I said, like, fuck it, man. Kaz, I want you this bad. Let's do this. Cold Crush was born that day.
Wow.
That was now, I don't smoke. Now, So now, the fucked up part was that I had the original crew, but I didn't know how to tell the old crew that they were fired. So now I have 2 crews, and I'm trying to figure this out. Me and Tony, Tony left it on me. You gotta tell them. This is what you wanted. You gotta tell them. I'm like, damn, what the fuck? Luckily, Dada Rock and Whip a Whip had decided to leave the crew because they went with Fantastic 5, which was cool. And then I had to finally tell Teddy and T-Bone, yo, sorry guys, but I'm forming a new crew and this and that. And, they handled it well. They handled it like men, and that was it. And that was when the Cold Crush was born.